maybe you're rambling around in the woods, hunting for goblins or whatever, and you happen upon this chap. You may have found yourself a druid. Hi, by the way, I'm AP Tally, and this is Roleplay Culture. Druids have an old history in the real world. High-ranking, learned class of the ancient Celts that served as priests. They were also lore keepers, medicine men, and legal professionals. Honestly, kind of like what you think a wizard would be. In D&D 5e, druids are nature hippies, but they can still be a lot of fun to play with their magic and their wild shaping into creatures to scout or fight. There are also a lot of ways to interpret the druid class that is expressed through their subclass. Subclasses, as you remember, are options chosen by classes to help niche down into a certain concept through abilities given by the subclass. These choices are made between levels 1 and 3. For the druid, that choice is at level 2, which we will refer to as the circle. And we have 7 to choose from, which is the fewest of the options for a core class. But which to choose? What will take us to Tuatha De Danann, and which is going to have us scrounging around in a pigsty because we turned ourselves into a pig and can't remember how to turn ourselves back. Let's remember that these are just my opinions. I think any subclass can find a home in the right campaign at the right table. There's some competition for the best subclass for the druid. But for the right one, I think we'll have to look up. To the circle of the stars. I bet you thought I was going to say the moon, weren't you? Look, the moon druid is strong. It takes a core feature of the class, wild shape, and pumps it up. But as anyone who has played a moon druid knows, the beast progression slows quickly, and so too does the moon druid as they level up. But the stars druid, they're very interesting. These druids study the stars and would sometimes build megaliths and pyramids to be in tune with them. At second level, you attain your star map, a star chart of some form that you could generate with an hour ritual, and that could act as a spell focus. As long as you had this on your person, you obtain these abilities. First, you learn the Guidance cantrip. Guidance gives a 1d4 bonus to the target's next ability check, which is great for buffing the rogue's lock-picking check or an athletics check to jump over a gorge. This is one of the most popular cantrips out there. It is available to the druid normally, and I would definitely take it, but druids only start with 2 cantrips. For anyone who's played a class like that knows it's very limiting. An extra cantrip is very welcome, especially this cantrip. We also have the Guiding Bolt spell, always prepared. This is a fantastic cleric spell that has a range of 120 feet, and if you hit with a spell attack roll, you do 46 radiant damage, which is quite a bit for a first level spell. It can be upcast as well, and if you do hit with this spell, the next attack against the target has advantage. We get a number of free castings of this spell equal to our proficiency bonus. This, and another ability we'll see in a moment, do something really interesting for the druid. You see, the druid has a weakness, and that weakness is range combat. Weapon-wise, the best they have is like a sling for spells. Yeah, they've got some good concentration spells, but not too many that have a good range. And you can only have so many spell slots. Anyway, for cantrips, there are only 2 options that have a range of more than 30 feet. Frostbite and Magic Stone. The former of which is terrible. And the latter, not too bad. Also at second level, we get Starry Form, which is a new way to use our wild shape. As a bonus action, we expend a wild shape use and can take on 1 of 3 constellation forms for 10 minutes. And remember, wild shape comes back on a short rest. While we're in this form, we glow like a torch. We can also act normally, and our statistics remain unchanged. The Chalice allows us, when we cast a spell with this spell slot that restores hit points, heal any creature within 30 feet of us, which can include ourselves, for 1d8 plus Wisdom modifier. So when we cast something like Healing Word, we can heal the same creature or another within range. I think this is probably the weaker option, but could find use outside of combat to heal before taking a short rest and recovering those wild shape charges. The dragon lets us, when we roll an intelligence or wisdom check, or a constitution saving throw, to specifically maintain concentration on a spell, to treat anything rolled under a 10 as a 10. The second part of this ability is definitely where it's at. Druids have some awesome concentration spells available to them. Conjure animals and woodland beings, moonbeam, spike growth, even some summon spells like summon beast and draconic spirit. Being able to keep these big concentration spells going is often of the utmost importance. But it's the archer that we'll probably use the most. When we activate the archer, and with subsequent bonus actions, we make a ranged spell attack up to 60 feet that does 1d8 plus the wisdom modifier in radiant damage on a hit. Not an enormous amount, but good, reliable, and consistent range damage. Remember what we talked about before, how the Druid can suffer in range combat. This just makes the Stars Druid like a machine gun on the battlefield. At 6th level, we get Cosmic Omen. When we finish a long rest, you roll a die. You get a special reaction based on if you rolled an even or odds. And then you can use this a number of times per day equal to your proficiency modifier. For even or wheel, when a creature within 30 feet that you can see makes an attack roll, saving throw, or an ability check, you can use your reaction to add a d6 to that roll. This could be particularly useful to protect your allies against nasty save or die spells like Dominate Person. It's almost like Bardic Inspiration. For odd or woe, similarly, when a creature within 30 feet that we can see makes an attack roll, ability check, or a saving throw, we can use our reaction to subtract 1d6 from that roll. This is huge. There are very few ways to deep up a saving throw in 5e, probably for good reason. This character is just so efficient with their actions. First round, cast your biggest concentration spell, maybe conjure animals, and then use your bonus action to transform into the archer and fire off a beam of light. After that, it's going to be use your action to cast guiding bolts, bonus action, archer shots, reactions to buff and debuff your enemies. Efficiency, my old friend. At 10th level, Twinkling Constellation improves our starry form. The dice for the archer and the chalice increase to 2d8, and the dragon form also provides a flying speed of 20 feet and the ability to hover. But the real important feature of this ability kind of comes as an afterthought. At the start of each turn, we can change our constellation. So we can be gunning down bad guys as the archer when one of our allies goes down. And then on our turn, switch to the chalice to hit them with a healing word to get them back on their feet with enough hit points to actually survive. With healing word, it'd be 1d4 plus 2d8 plus twice our wisdom modifier. Or even better, if 2 characters go down, we could break that healing up with healing word going to one character and then our chalice bonus going to another. It just makes this ability so versatile. At 14th level, Full of Stars lets us, when in our starry form, have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. So in addition to being this buffing, debuffing, walking machine gun, we're also very tanky. It's the best part of the Barbarian's Rage with none of the downsides. I love this subclass for its uniqueness, its ranged abilities, which are definitely weird for a druid, and its flexibility. And remember, we can still do all the usual druidic things. We can still cast cool spells, turn into interesting animals to scout, spy, fight as needed. If Neil deGrasse Tyson was a D&D character, I think this is what he'd be. Now let's dig around in the mud for the lesser options. It was certainly a close race between 2. But though the Circle of the Land's higher level abilities kind of suck, the things it starts with are pretty solid. The same could not be said for the Circle of the Dreams, the worst subclass for the Druid. These Druids focus on their nature connection to the Fae and the Feywild. At 2nd level, you get Balm of Summer Court. This is a type of energy that takes the form of a number of d6s equal to your Druid level. As a bonus action, you can give an ally within 120 feet of you a number of these dice equal to half your Druid level. These dice are rolled and added together. The ally heals for that many hit points, and also gains a number of temporary hit points equal to the number of dice they got. These dice are replenished on a long rest. So if you were a 6th level Green Druid and you gave 3 dice to an ally, say you rolled a 10, they would heal for 10 hit points and also get 3 temporary hit points. Okay, this ability is not too bad. I rather like it. But it is all you get. So good ability, but not a whole lot of power. I do like the team support that it does. Let's see what else we get. At 6th level, we get Hearth of Moonlight and Shadow, which is a very wordy title for a very wordy ability. Simply, as part of a short or long rest, you create a 30-foot radius magical sphere, giving everyone in it +5 to stealth and perception checks and keeps light from escaping. It's basically a way to protect and hide your camp while resting. It's not a bad ability per se. I like that it's part of the rest, so it doesn't take up any extra time to do this, especially for a short rest. You can use this to hide your party while taking a breather in hostile territory and trying to avoid discovery. And the only limit to how often you can use this is how often you take rests. But man, if anyone in the party can cast Lehman's Tiny Hut, it's just a superior way of protecting your campsite. There are other more creative ways to do this as well, using leftover spell slots cast like Snare, Cordon of Arrows, Alarm, trapping the area with hunting traps. And once again, this is all you get. So not a bad ability, but it's not much, and it's all there is. At 10th level, you get Hidden Paths, which allows you 2 different teleport methods. First, with a bonus action, you can teleport 60 feet, so Misty Step with twice the range. Nice. The second lets you, with an action, touch a willing creature and teleport them 30 feet away. You can use a number of teleports per day equal to your wisdom modifier. At first glance, I like this ability. Being able to teleport yourself around the battlefield, around obstacles and past traps, pretty useful. Though I will say, I would almost certainly take the Fey Touch feat, and that would give us Misty Step anyway, but still pretty useful. The other ability is more limited. Remember, the creature must be willing, so there's no teleporting away bad guys. You must touch them, so they have to be standing beside you. It can't be teleported out of trouble to you. I guess you could teleport an ally with your action and then teleport yourself. It's a little niche and doesn't have much range, but I'm sure there are circumstances where this would come into play. At 14th level, we get Walker in Dreams. Once per day, when we finish a short rest, we can cast one of the following spells without expending a spell slot, or even with material components, which is good because some of these have very expensive components. We can cast Dream with us as the sender, Scrying, or a special version of Teleportation Circle. A Teleportation Circle does not take us to a permanent teleportation circle, but to the last place we finished a long rest. This last one is very limited, but also full of shenanigans. You could sleep at the Emperor's Palace and then sneak back in the next time you short rest. Weird, but let's remember that Transport via Plants is a 6th level spell that does something similar. Yes, it does require a spell slot, but it works on all the plants that we've touched. So again, useful ability, but maybe not quite as good as we first thought. The scrying option is the only one I could see us consistently using to gather information. So is this a bad subclass? No. There's nothing here that's like a trap. But it's not very good and kind of boring. I will admit that their higher level abilities are a smidge better than the other contender for this list, the Circle of the Land. However, that subclass has stronger abilities at the early level of play, and I give those much more weight because you'll have them longer. You may never see a subclass 14th level ability, but the ones you get at 2nd level, you'll have for the majority of the campaign. Also, this subclass just doesn't do what I think it's supposed to do very well. It's the Circle of the Dreams, and you're already even going to give me like the sleep spell for free or something. What's dream-like about that? The limited dream spell that we get at 14th level? Yes, I know. Flavor text is supposed to be more like Fey and Feywild. Let's call it a Fey Wanderer or something. Wait, I think there's already a thing. Yeah. Not the point. The point is that this subclass doesn't do what it's supposed to do. I mean, there are some mechanics that revolve around resting. That's a bit limited, don't you think? The dragon I'm fighting doesn't care about me resting. Quite the opposite, in fact. At least the Circle of the Land did what it was supposed to do. It made the subclass about the land. even if it didn't turn out particularly well. All right, rant over. Tell me in the comments below what you think of these two subclasses. Is the Stars Druid as strong as I think? Or would you still pray to the moon? Would you consider the Dreams the worst? Or maybe choose the Land? I wouldn't blame you for either. Be sure to subscribe, ring the bell, smash that like button. Check out our other videos over here, and I'll see you in the parlor.